Lazy. The word didn't echo because Marcus Reed didn't give it room to. It just sat there on the morning air, flat, final. Like a label someone had been waiting to stick on him. They were on the warehouse floor, under bright lights that made every dust particle look like proof. Pallets lined the aisles like silent witnesses. A few co-workers slowed their steps. Not enough to stare, just enough to hear. Mr. Dalton, the shift manager, held a clipboard like a verdict. "I'm tired of excuses," he said. "You show up looking like you slept in your car, and you move like you don't care." Marcus stood with his gloves in his hand. Early 30s. Black, broad shoulders softened by exhaustion. His eyes weren't defiant. They were careful. "I'm here," Marcus said quietly. Dalton's smile was thin. Being present isn't the same as being useful. Each word made the room smaller. Marcus glanced toward the loading bay doors, still closed, still locked, like he could walk through them without permission. He couldn't. He just breathed. Dalton tapped the clipboard. Yesterday's numbers were embarrassing. "And you," he looked Marcus up and down. "You were the slowest on the line." Marcus didn't argue. He didn't explain. Not yet. What he didn't know was already written down.
Before we continue, if stories like this remind you that respect should never depend on how someone looks, tap like, share this video, and subscribe to Black Justice so more people can hear these powerful lessons and stay with us to the end of this narration. It helps the channel grow and keeps these stories alive. Your support helps us keep telling stories that matter. Now back to the story.
Dalton stepped closer, voice calm, almost conversational. "That made it worse. You want to keep this job, Marcus? Act like you deserve it." A forklift beeped somewhere behind them. The sound felt like a warning no one would claim responsibility for. "I do my work," Marcus said. Dalton shrugged. "Then prove it, because right now you look tired. You look careless. You look—" He paused, letting the silence sharpen the next word. "Lazy." The silence did more damage than the insult. Marcus nodded once, like he was filing the word away. Understood. Dalton's confidence grew in the space Marcus refused to fill. "I'm writing you up," he said. "Last warning." He scribbled on the paper. The pen moved like it had done this before. From the corner of the warehouse, a woman in a reflective vest. Tanya, the floor lead, watched with her lips pressed together. She didn't step in. Not yet. Not without permission. Dalton tore the sheet from his clipboard and held it out. "Sign it." Marcus looked at the paper. His name, the date, a note, repeated low performance. Failure to meet expectations. He didn't take the pen immediately. Dalton leaned in. "If you don't sign, it's insubordination." Marcus lifted his gaze. His voice stayed low. "I'll sign that I received it." Dalton smirked. "You think you're smart." Marcus took the pen and signed. His hand was steady. His face wasn't. Dalton folded the paper and tucked it into the clipboard like he'd just restored order. Then he turned to the team, projecting his voice without raising it. "Let this be a reminder," he said. "We all have to pull our weight." He walked off, satisfied. Marcus stood where he was, hands empty now. A co-worker passed and murmured, "You good?" Marcus answered the truth, without decoration. "I'm here." The shift began. Conveyor belts hummed. Boxes moved. Scanners chirped. The warehouse did what warehouses do. It consumed people quietly and called it productivity. Marcus worked. Not fast. Not slow. Just steady. An hour later, Dalton returned with a visitor. Two visitors, actually. A woman in a tailored coat, hair pulled back, posture precise. Beside her, a man in a security jacket with a tablet in his hand. Both wore expressions that didn't belong to morning drama. Dalton straightened when he saw them. "Ms. Klein," he said quickly, "I didn't know you were coming today." Ms. Klein's eyes swept the floor. "We didn't announce it." Dalton's laugh was polite. "Of course. Surprise audits. We welcome them." The security officer glanced at his tablet. "We're here about last night." Dalton blinked. "Last night?" Ms. Klein nodded once. "The emergency?" Dalton's brow tightened. "I'm not sure what you mean." The security officer tapped the screen, then turned it so Dalton could see. At 2:14 a.m., an alarm triggered at Bay 3. A power surge. Fire risk. The suppression system almost activated. Dalton's mouth opened, then paused. That's maintenance. Ms. Klein's voice stayed calm. Maintenance was not on site. Dalton swallowed. Then who? The security officer's tone was neutral. One employee badge accessed the floor after hours. One person stayed for 3 hours, stabilized the panel, rerouted the power to prevent a cascade, and called the emergency electrician before the system failed. Dalton forced a smile. Well, that's good. Whoever it was did their job. Ms. Klein turned slightly. We'd like to thank him. Dalton blinked again. Him? The security officer scrolled. Employee Marcus Reed. The warehouse didn't get quieter because machines stopped. It got quieter because people stopped breathing at the same time. Dalton stared at the tablet like the name might change. Marcus Reed. Ms. Klein looked past Dalton, scanning faces until her eyes found Marcus near the conveyor line, lifting a box with careful hands. She pointed gently. Is that him? Dalton turned. Marcus looked up. He didn't flinch. He didn't smile. He simply met the moment like he'd been carrying it all morning. Dalton's face shifted, confusion first, then calculation, then something like embarrassment trying to hide behind authority. He walked toward Marcus, slower now. The room felt smaller again, but different this time, like the truth had entered and taken a seat. Dalton stopped in front of Marcus. You were here last night? He asked. Marcus set the box down softly. Yes. Dalton's eyes narrowed, as if searching for a trick. Why didn't you tell me? Marcus's voice stayed level. You didn't ask. Ms. Klein stepped forward. Marcus, she said, we reviewed the footage. You prevented a serious incident. A fire. Damage. Injuries. Marcus nodded once. I saw the panel acting strange before I left. I came back to check. Dalton tried to recover. That's commendable, he said, too late. Miss Klein's gaze moved to Dalton. Why was he here unscheduled? Dalton's throat tightened. He didn't. Marcus spoke before Dalton could fill the air with excuses. Calmly. Exactly. I was already behind on sleep, Marcus said. So I chose to be behind on sleep for a reason. Dalton's jaw flexed. Ms. Klein turned to the security officer. What's company policy on discouraging incident reporting? The officer answered without emotion. It violates safety protocol. Dalton lifted his hands slightly. No one discouraged anything. Tanya, the floor lead, finally stepped forward. Her voice was quiet, but it carried. He tried to tell the night supervisor about the panel last week. He was told not to make noise unless it was already broken. Dalton froze. Marcus looked at Dalton, not with anger, but with a tired honesty. He didn't raise his voice. He raised the truth. I've been trying to protect this place, Marcus said. I just needed someone to believe me before it became a headline. Ms. Klein's expression didn't harden into cruelty. It settled into accountability. Mr. Dalton, she said, we'll be reviewing your write-ups, your supervision notes, and your safety decisions. Effective immediately, you're removed from floor management pending investigation. Dalton's eyes widened. Ms. Klein, please. She raised one finger. Gently, not here. The security officer stepped closer, professional, not aggressive. Sir, I'll walk you to the office. Dalton looked at Marcus again, like he expected a victory speech. Marcus gave him none. Ms. Klein faced Marcus. Marcus Reed, she said, thank you. Also, your record will be corrected. That write-up from this morning will be removed. And we'd like to offer you a safety lead role, with a raise. Marcus blinked. The smallest crack in his composure. Not pride. Relief. He nodded slowly. I accept. Ms. Klein softened just a little. And Marcus, you look tired because you've been carrying what others refuse to see. Marcus lowered his eyes. I've been carrying it because someone had to. The machines resumed their ordinary rhythm. The warehouse returned to movement. But something had changed, not because Marcus was promoted, because the truth finally walked in and stayed. Some people think respect is a reward you give after someone proves they're worthy. But respect is supposed to come first. It's the starting point, not the prize. If you only treat people well when they can protect you, that isn't professionalism. It's fear in a suit. Respect costs nothing, but means everything.
If this story touched your heart and remind you that respect should never depend on appearances, race, or color, take a moment to subscribe. Your support helps us share more Black justice stories that inspire change, spark awareness, and remind the world what dignity truly looks like. Share and leave a comment. Your voice helps bring these stories to life and keeps the message alive. Your voice matters here,